Peace to the guys. Come lock in with me, family. I need to talk to y'all real quick. Family, let me talk to you all real quick before I go wrap it up my day. Because today I have a moment of time to address something. And today I want to address a certain bald-headed man by the name of Isaac Hayes on this post that he made about me. And he caught me on the right day today. So we're far from Ramadan, so that means I choose violence. So we're going to get into something. First of all, peace to the gods that are all here. I want y'all all to lock in. I appreciate y'all. You know, I was minding my black God business, and I seen a post. And let me start this off. Right, I seen a post by Mr. Isaac Hayes. And the post was first, shout out to Taraji P. Henson and BET for putting the country on Project 2025. Now, in that post, I impulsively looked at that and I dropped laughing emojis on it. Because I was trying to decide whether I was going to give BET a pass this year. But it's been on my mind. And it's been on my mind because there's a term that we've been talking about called blackface media. Black independent media is not allowed to grow because media is based upon advertisement dollars and the relationships you have with advertisement. But only safe black media gets advertisement. And so they try to stifle and or completely stunt your growth. And there is a division that needs to happen in black America. We talk about unity a lot, but there's a division that needs to happen when we talk about safe black America and real black America. Safe black America are people that fit into the paradigm of making themselves, safe for the white gaze, white advertisement dollars. So they're not going to speak truth to power. They're not going to be real. You're not going to get anything real from them. And we are in political season to what you're going to see is, and what we are seeing is when we see celebrities outside, they're performing for the White House. They're pushing for Joe Biden. They're doing so because they're getting paid to. And they've been talking about Project 2025, which is the boogeyman of this conservative group, which is a plan for the Liberty Foundation. It is a comprehensive policy framework and all the changes that they want to make in, I believe, the first 100 days of President Trump's election. But then I looked at it and, I had a ticket to go to BET and I decided to give that to someone else, to a friend of mine. And, he said that he was disgusted and appalled by what he's seen at BET. He didn't see any strong black male representation. It was all agenda. It was all Walmart. It was all McDonald's sponsored. And I was looking at the post that he made, and he said, shout out to Taraji Henson, and he said, shout out to BET for putting people on Project 2025, and he shows a Google graph that the searches go up. So I laughed. Oh, man, I laughed because it's so hypocritical, right? But in his next post, an hour later, after I laugh, he tags me and says that, what you laughing at? Come on now. So my first response after seeing this, what am I laughing at? Because I was going to let that get a pass for a second until I seen this next post. So first of all, what am I laughing at? Right? BET isn't serious at all, which is why I'm laughing. BET is a joke. Everything attached to it is blackface media that degrades the culture, which is a worse agenda than Project 2025. Then I'm going to say that sellout politics for money is a fake boule circus. So, of course, the clowns will applaud the entertainment at the circus. Now, I look at BET and I say they create so many black jobs and things of that nature, but we can't let them get away with it. So they had a culture class and it was a lot of gay black men and a lot of women on there, and I didn't see any of my peers up there whatsoever. Only people that were safe and only people that fall into the left agenda. Wasn't no gods up there. It wasn't nobody that's God body with knowledge of self up there. Y'all can allow a man to kiss the hand of Biden But y'all won't even speak the name of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who has a nation within nation that is helping with the mental, physical, and spiritual resurrection of the black man and woman in America, creating black families, jobs, opportunities, schools, whatsoever. But you would never push out a campaign to speak towards that whatsoever. But you would sell out, and you would use your platform to go against your brother. You will use your platform to parade. You will use your platform to go up there and dance and tap dance and turn to Bojangles. On one end, y'all niggas ain't nothing but entertaining clowns pushing death and destruction. And on the next end, you care about the political future of black America. And you like, we gotta push this out. It's all 100% fake. It's like when we had Juvenile talking about vax that ass up. It was the most clownish representation of something that I could possibly see in the culture at its highest level. So when I look at BET is blackface media. It is white-owned corporation that has a black-centric audience that takes the lowest level of our culture, right? And they put sponsorship and budget and ad dollars behind it and sell and serve us the most toxic fast food culture that we could ever get. Literally, they were serving McDonald's at BET. People were standing in line to get McDonald's. Now, we know how high our blood pressure is. We know how much cancer we got in society. We know how bad the health disparities are in black America. And that side of black America understood that when they was pushing the vaccine and saying, well, black people got to work. We got all the health disparities. Y'all need to get the jab. But then the culture gets sponsored by McDonald's. Now, that's not an issue. And he goes on to make a post that say, wait a minute, I'm not done. He said a lot of fake deep, woke, high-level intellectual activists need a villain. So you start off with fake deep, which is already disrespectful. So now we are away from the land of respect. High-level intellectuals, he's talking about me using the word high-level. Intellectual activists need a villain. Need a villain, need a villain. Do y'all think that we have to make up a boogeyman or a villain in this culture? Now we have to get to who or what is the villain. Why do we need a villain when there are so many of them? You think that we have a lack of devils, that we need a villain for relevancy? Then he goes on to say, you don't ever want solutions to the problem because if things get solved, you have no platform. Oh, man. Then we go on to, what are you without something to complain to fight against? What is a soldier without something to fight against? It's a very good question. See, a man is always going to find a war to win. But if you're not a man, you may not understand that. Your platforms thrive off exploitation of black plight, and you never wanted to end. And that's what got me at the last part. You say exploitation of black plight. So now black intellectuals are the problem for the exploitation of black plight, not BET. Not BET. While you praise nigga culture, you praise Sexy Reds, and you praise all of those things that we see in the entertainment industry, which is completely about distracting the mind of the masses away from real problems, while sneaking in politics without even educating the people at a high level, without giving them any particular option whatsoever. This is super devilish to praise BET and then slam black intellectuals who are trying to get black people to think independently of a system so that they can save themselves. And then tag a few people that you consider to be safe so you can try to draw a wedge in a division. It's high-level deception. It's low-level tactics at best, right? And I think that you are confused in the mind on who and what the real villain is. Because the villain is the nigga culture in the first place. BET is the villain. When you look on that stage and you don't see one good example for young black girls, it ended off with Lauryn Hill, but it didn't start there. That was the 1% of the show. You didn't see any solid black male representation of black intellectuals on that stage. I didn't see that. So you telling me that you don't believe that there's not a single black male in culture that represents high intellect that should be giving a platform during this time that can represent black people to think independently at a higher level, especially while black men are going through the crisis that they're going through right now? NAACP, BET, Essence, none of them represent real black culture. They represent, and a lot of us, they represent the nostalgia that makes us feel connected to a past that was never good for us. But because we are emotionally connected to it, we feel the nostalgia of it. We like it. But it was never good in the first place. See, many of you all need to sit down and you need to read Message to the Black Man. Nipsey Hussle had it on his book list. You can't even consider yourself, in America, you call yourself a black man, you ain't never read Message to the Black Man? See, if you're not speaking from the consciousness of knowledge of self, then nothing of what you're saying is valid after that. But when we talk about the villain of black culture, it is nigger culture. It is nigger mentality. It is low-level entertainment and destructive, toxic entertainment that is actually being funded every single day by these devils. And they push to your young daughters and your young sons as culture. But if it does not have values, if it don't have values, then it can't be good culture. Oh, sure, it's culture, but it's not good culture. Because good culture is based on good values. And sure, politics have their place to where we're talking about leveraging our platform and resources to where we have the most power to change bills and policies and things of that nature at a local level. But local politicians don't reach out. If somebody asks me, Keys, hey, we have this bill we want to get passed. Can you help us with this? And I'm in agreement with it. I say, hell yeah, I'll run my platform for that every single goddamn day. Let's do it. So it ain't the fact that black people have a problem with policies or politics and things of that nature. Right? You're not reaching out during those times. The only time we're pushing it is when you're pushing a democratic agenda for the presidential election at a high level. That is the only time. And black people aren't given any choices. We're constantly given villains to be afraid of so that we have another reason to only go with one choice. Not to come up with an independent idea. Not whatsoever. Not to think for self. Not to strategize to actually leverage your vote, because if you're only voting for the same person every 4 years, then there is no vote to leverage. There's nothing that you can ask for. Because the villain would always be the Republicans. The villain would always be the right. And then they put out reports like the Onyx Impact reports that villainizes black males in media as having too much influence over the sway of voters. So they literally put out a protocol so that they can defame, right, your name so that you don't have the influence over them. So they start putting out these barrage of articles and they get these black journalists to write them so that they can start talking about these black platforms that have too much influence. Now, you think that that's respecting black men? But see, there's a difference when there's a connection I want you all to look up. And we are going through a society of very soft men, so your politics become soft. The way you think about things becomes soft. Testosterone is low, right? It changes the way people consider politics in the male society. But it's not coming from a high-level warrior perspective. It's not coming from a we want to run our own world perspective. It's coming from a bow down and kiss the ring of a massa perspective. It's coming from a boule gatekeeper culture that is controlled and sold souls for capitalism and commerce that have nothing to do with righteousness and moral integrity of values. We don't have a lack of villains. We don't need more villains. We got too many of them. Our biggest villains is ourselves. Our biggest villains come directly from the culture. Our biggest villains are all of the stats that are stacked up against black men in America that I don't see a single political policy that is pushing out there vigorously to say that this is what we're going to change for you all. And if black men have the highest level of issues, problems, and stats, then that should be what we're pushing. So when we see platforms such as mine, my platform is not about complaining. My platform is about getting you to think. My platform is about actually saying that you're not a victim, that you can save yourself, that you need to come up with your own vision and decolonize your mind, right, from having the victim mentality and needing a savior. No, there's always been an intellectual divide in this country, from the Malcolm X's to the W.E.B. Du Bois to the Thurgood Marshalls, right, about what is the solution moving forward. And that, being frank, all of the solutions have a seat at the table, but we no longer have black unions and black caucuses. When you get a celebrity, and shout out to my sister Taraji P. Henson, but that's not a celebrity that I'm going to listen to for a political agenda or purpose. That's not. That is somebody that I see that is very entertaining when it's on screen, but that's not somebody that I give praise for listening to. Maybe if they had Mark Lamont Hill there, but they wouldn't even have him there because he probably going to say something about Palestine and the funders of BET would not want that. They're not going to say anything about free Palestine to fight against the genocide. And he's not going to say anything about that. No, we're not going to fight in that capacity whatsoever. Because they are souls. Souls. We're not going to really address the bigger issues that matter to us. See, Project 2025, as evil seeming as it is, it only matters because we don't have our own Project 2025. What is our Project 55? What is our Project 2053? When we only get together to bring awareness to someone else's plan versus get together to have a plan, right? We're playing defense and we're using that as a tactic of manipulation to install fear versus saying that this is the plan that we have. We've done the research. This is the best way everybody should move forward. Get on board. We're going to bring those who consider to be safe, those who consider to be radical, and we're going to bring them to the table and talk about how we can transform our future ourselves. Now, that's what I plan on doing at InvestFest. I'm not going to get up there and talk about their platform. I'm not going to get up there and talk about somebody else's meticulous plan or how they want to create a white conservative agenda for America. They're supposed to do that. They're supposed to plan. So are we. Because I was always taught that God is the best of planners. The devil will always have his plans. Because the natural state of a righteous human being is to overtake the devil's world. There's a reason why if humans disappear from cities, all of a sudden you start to see nature overgrow. It's the same thing with the nature of a God and the people that are gods. It will overtake this devilish world because of who we naturally are. But to praise BET while slamming black intellectuals is the highest level of hypocrite that you can reach. You know, I stopped wanting to even go to these places. I can be at all of them. But I just don't see, I don't feel any genuineness in it. The people who own those platforms, they're devils as well. We have enough villains, and a lack of values in our culture is the biggest villain that we have. No amount of voting can change the values in a culture. No amount of voting is going to change the way we do black family. It's not going to change the way we treat each other. And if you want a villain, we go straight to the mirror because self-change is the basis of community change, according to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And if that's not where we operating from, then nothing else matters. You know, we reached out to Cornel West. He responded, and we have inshallah, we have an interview set up for Cornel West. I would have loved to him at least got a voice at so-called black entertainment television where the culture lives. They talk where the culture lives. Well, is it a good culture? They say not like us, but let's really break that down because there's a lot of people that's not like us. But who is us? We have to start breaking down this culture from an ethnic standpoint and say, are we even aligned with your values? Because if you're not, then we not like you. We're not the same. Your values don't align with ours. Every celebrity that speaks for a political agenda needs to state what their values are. So it gives a person the opportunity to say, wait a minute, I don't even agree with your values. While they are claiming that they're part of the culture, while they're claiming to be righteous and they're claiming to be all these different things, and we're claiming to be a people that are together. We claiming to say black culture, but we have to start separating it, right? When we look at the not like us, it was a separation of good culture and bad culture. And which one do we want to stand on? And I can understand why there's certain people who pick this side and that side because one is a culture of accountability, right? One is a culture that is steeped into the values of what we inherently find valuable and what we can build on. Community, right? Family. Right, righteousness, morals. You know what I mean? Something good. Not this microwavable BS. Not this boule sellout circus that they keep pushing down our throat, especially by people who are stressed and depressed themselves. If it is not representing black men and women getting together and creating a family dynamic, then it is not good culture. If it is, well, at least they got a bag, it's not good culture. So we're going to be focused on what are the values and how do we create new images. How do we create new cultures and new paradigms and new solutions? And how do we use technology and resources? How do we establish political leverage in a way that we use it collectively to change the bills so that we can have economic opportunities?